Hello, thank you for tuning in to this week's segment of readings. Um, this is on James 13 Wicca on YouTube, in case you're not seeing it there. For the main tarot, I'm going to use Wild Reflections Tarot deck by Spell. And there is a website on the back here. I believe it's there, yspell.com. It's in the center over here. There we go. If you're interested. That's what we have for the tarot deck. The oracle cards I'm going to use are Sacred... Okay, can't hold it. Sacred Traveler Oracle cards. It's hard to read it backwards. By Denise Lynn. Where's the websites for Denise? I think it's on the back of the book. So it's at the end of her paragraph where you see her face, that yellowish box. It's at the bottom of it. DeniseLynn.com if you want to check her out. And I also use dice. I use a 22-sided dice for the major arcana, substituting 22 for 0 for the Fool. 14-sided dice for the minor arcana, and a 4-sided dice to choose the element. It's from the Dice Shop. The website there is mathartfun.com. I don't know if it's showing up. I don't know if you can see mathart.com. Hopefully you can. mathartfun.com. Alright, that being said, if you'd like a reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. That being said, let's get into your reading. Hello, Taurus. Thank you very much for tuning in to this week's read. These readings are valid for whenever you come to them. That being said, what do we have for Taurus? Pleasant energy. Okay. Pleasant, cooperative, working with it. Working with it. I think it's ironically good. Because there's some randomness in here, but I feel like you're probably used to it. I feel like you're probably used to it. I feel like this is going to be interesting because it looks like it's kind of going well anyway. But I almost feel like, you know, if you're aware of it, it makes it easier, makes it flow better. It's kind of like if you know a surprise is coming, like if you know so-and-so is coming from out of town, nobody told you. For example, like you're just like, oh, Aunt Susie's here for the weekend. She's staying with Uncle Bob. Oh, and you're expecting us to get together this Saturday. So it's kind of like if you know ahead of time that so-and-so is coming and these plans could happen, you won't have things planned for Saturday or Sunday or whatever. You're like, all right. It's just easier. It's a lot easier if you know ahead of time. And I think that's what this reading is going to try to help you with. Kind of like, I probably would go anyway, but if I know that that's going to happen, I'll enjoy it a lot more. Because I feel like, for Taurus anyway, you may be able to adjust and move things around, but it might play in the background of your mind, like I was supposed to be doing this, or I could have been getting this done today, or I planned to do this, and now that I didn't do that, now it's going to put that off too. It could kind of throw you off. If you already know certain things are going to happen, it just makes it so much better for you. So hopefully this is going to give you the advantage on that. Because I feel like I've not been told things. I don't think that's bad. Like, I don't think anybody did that in a negative way. Let's just keep it there. So, 9 of Fire. Why aren't people telling you things? Other people might be talking about it, but they're not talking to you. Okay. You seem to be off on your own, and you seem to be very comfortable. Nobody seems to be telling you what's going on here. This seems to be the past. Has this happened before in this certain situation? I feel like this situation, this has happened before. I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm going to say this. I have an obnoxious relative who literally just shows up. They don't live in this state, but they just show up when they want to. It's obnoxious. It's obnoxious. Although I don't like that relative anyway. But that doesn't help the situation. But it's a pattern with this person. Like, I'm not the only buddy who doesn't like it. And there's people that actually like this relative that don't like that behavior, if that helps. So it's almost like whatever this is probably has a pattern. It just randomly happens. Something like that. That might be the first trigger to help you figure out where this fits. Because I feel like it happens and I don't like it. It happens. I know it's going to happen again. It's kind of like that thing I just explained. You know it's going to happen again. You know it's going to happen again. Who knows when? That's the random thing. You just never know. You never know why they're coming to town. They don't like to share that information. They just, oh, surprise, I'm here. Okay, well, that's great. I guess somebody probably likes that. Not me, but probably somebody. But I'm gonna let that go because I'm just getting a lot of analogies and I'm just like, do not like. Whoever this person is though, if something like that is happening, you probably like the person. So I'm like, I feel like I need to disconnect from that. I feel like, they're like, well. I keep getting somebody pushing me like, well, let's not go there. Taurus feels the way they feel about certain people. Don't worry about it. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm not saying you like or don't like anybody. Just information not coming your way. Oh, it's driving me nuts. But there's because you're not seeing anything. Nobody's preparing. Nobody's planning things. Nobody's getting things together. You're not seeing anything happen here. But there is stuff going on behind the scenes. It's just not happening in front of you. Why is that? It's interesting that it's a shell because when I looked at it at first, I thought it was like a rolled up like tentacle, like a squid or like a octopus would have, and I was like, oh, that's disgusting. But then I realized it's actually a conch shell or something, or some type of seashell. Just those little dots, those little circles on it made me think, like, I'm like, oh, I keep getting this weird feeling like maybe other people like it, but maybe I don't. It might be one of those things. And it's almost like, for example, the relative comes from out of town unexpectedly. And maybe it's not so much of like getting together with them as much as the other people that want to see that relative. And it's kind of like, well, it'll be a good time with everybody else. And a lot of these other people I like, so I want to be there. One of those things. I'm just trying to be careful. I don't want to be the one who's jaded because I keep feeling this energy like, ugh. I'm just like, no, surprise, no. I never thought of myself as that, but I guess I'm not really a person that really gets all excited about surprises. Like I didn't think that. I'm just feeling that energy right now. Like I'm having this really adverse feeling to surprises. Like no surprises, no. The Phoenix shows up, and this card fell out. Oh. People, I don't know what's going on here. It's really making me uncomfortable because I feel like other people made it so I don't have to do anything. I just have to show up. And I'm feeling that. And I'm just like, I feel like people are missing the point. I feel like it's going right over people's heads why I don't like surprises. I feel like it's going right over their heads. Like I probably have other things planned. And the things that I have planned are going to lead into more stuff. There's a whole chain of events here. And when you just pop this stuff out of nowhere, it throws off my whole cycle. So it throws off my whole thing. And I feel like people don't get that with Taurus. Like you probably have a whole plan. And by throwing this stuff in there, it's kind of like, well, they're like, oh, well, we had it all set up and we brought all the food and we're going to do all the cleanup. So you don't have to worry about anything, Taurus. We just want you to come. And it's kind of like, all right, yeah, you're not getting it. It's like it's going right over their head. It's like, it's not about the participating. It's like, I don't mind helping set up and bringing some food and helping cleaning up. It's not the problem. The thing is, when I have things planned, like, you know what I mean? For example, if this takes up your weekend and this weekend you were going to do some work or you were going to do some improvements or you're going to help a friend with something, it's going to cause an issue. It's going to either shorten that time or it's going to move it to a different time. And you're like, that's not what I wanted. I had this planned out a certain way. I feel like people aren't getting it. It's weird how it's aggravating because it's like I'm almost outside of it but inside of it at the same time because it makes total sense to me if that's happening that way, why you would be aggravated with it. the World coming in. And the Two of Wands reversed. And I feel like, all right, I'm doing something here. What are you doing? I feel like I'm like, all right, I just got to show up. Okay, that's fine. I do want to go, and I feel like that. But it's like, for example, say the event is from 1 to 5. It's a 4-hour event. You might be showing up at like 3:30, 4 o'clock. And normally you'd probably be there a little early is what I'm getting, if that analogy hits. It's kind of like I'd usually be there a little bit early, help set up, be there for the whole thing, and then help break down afterwards. So like if the family event was from 1 to 5, you'd probably show up 11:30 noon, and you wouldn't leave till 6:37 by the time you got done with everything. And you're like, oh, okay, well I have other things planned this day, so I'm gonna do what I need to do. I'm gonna show up at 3:30, and you might actually leave at like 4:30. Kind of like you might normally be there for 7 hours, you might only be there for 1. And I feel like I'm making a point with that. It's kind of like, all right, we'll do this. You say I don't have to worry about things, I won't. I won't. So that seems to be like there's this left and right energy here. Because some of you will show up at 1 and stay till 5, for example, if that was the thing. And I don't think you're going to be happy. I feel like that's going to throw things off for you. I feel like if I do that, I feel like I'm perpetuating this behavior, and it's also throwing off my schedule. But the other version I just said, like, I feel like I'm making a point that when somebody does something random, when somebody does something random, I'm just going to do it to the version that makes me happy. I'm going to do the version that makes me happy. I'm not going to worry. You say I just got to show up. I'm only showing up for an hour because I have other things planned for that day. There's other things I want to get done, and I'm not willing to let that change. I'll show up for an hour. I can squeeze you in for an hour, but that's it. That's all I'm doing. And I feel like you'll enjoy it, but you'll also have this satisfaction of making a point. You don't want to tell me what's going on? I'm not going to rearrange my whole day. I'll give you a little piece of it because I feel like I do want to be there. There's other people I actually do want to see. So I will show up for that, but just an hour. Like, again, I keep feeling like you'd normally be there for like 5 to 7 hours. And if you're just there for 1, you show up, do what you got to do, and then you leave, it's going to make an impact. It's going to be a very subtle, very quiet, but very poignant. Poignant? Am I using the right word there? Very to the point, very something. Poignant. I can't. Yeah, I'm going to let it go. Because I feel like people are going to be like, oh, nobody's going to be upset, by the way. Because I feel like everything's good. I don't see any conflicts. I feel everybody's getting along. We're all cool. Everything's wonderful. Fun. It's all good. But I do see that people are like, they're paying attention and they're realizing, wait a minute. I keep seeing people look at this like, wait a minute. Like, that was a little different. Like, it took a bit longer to get things organized this time. And normally it would take us 1 to 2 hours to clean up afterwards. And we were like doing it for, like, it took a lot more energy to get things done. And I feel like people are realizing, I don't know, and then people are realizing, oh yeah, Taurus showed up for like an hour. They did show up. They said they had other things going on. They had other things planned that they had to do, so they did that. But they were here, and I'm thankful they came. But I feel like you're making a point very subtly. There might be some conversations that come towards you afterwards. I don't think they're bad, though. I feel like I'm just kind of saying, listen, I'm a person that plans. I get success out of my life because I plan. If you don't want to include me in yours, there's only so much you're going to get from me. I'm not going to rewrite my whole weekend because you didn't want to tell me what was coming. It's rational. It makes sense why you wouldn't do that. And I feel like this might actually fix a behavior. If this is a behavior that keeps happening, it keeps going over and over again, this might actually snap it into focus really fast. Which I feel like you would prefer. This is one of those times where, yeah, if we can fix that quickly, I would like that. I would very much like that. Huh, that's interesting. It's interesting because the aggravation I kept feeling through the whole thing, it's kind of gone now, but I almost feel like it was trying to make a point. Like, you know, to you this is a problem. Other people may not see it that way, but to you it feels like a problem, like an obvious problem, and other people don't want to respect that. So it's like, all right, then we're going to handle it a little differently. Peaceful but effective. I feel like this is peaceful but effective, definitely. All right, I'm going to shut this down here. I hope that helps. Thank you very much for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James the number 4, astral@gmail.com. If you're interested in the donation information, that's below, same email. Thanks again for watching, and have a great day.